and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. I'd welcome our new member, Elizabeth Moulton. Congratulations. Welcome aboard, and you can't leave for 3 years. Tonight we would normally do reorganization, but Dr. McDougall has gotten called away on business, and we've asked that we delay the reorganization until the next meeting. So I'm still chairman for tonight, anyway. And we have a list in your packet of, I forget what number it is, of everybody's assignments and appointments that need to be redone on an annual basis. And it is, Reggie, do you know what page it is? Towards the end, I know.
For the annual reappointments, is that what
Yeah.
you're asking?
What page it is? I had it.
12.
12?
Yeah.
12, page 12 on your agenda, or your packet.
What's that on page 2? Where
That's
is
for
that?
when you reorganize the
Okay,
liaisons.
okay.
Those are all our committees. So this is the list of appointments that we make on an annual basis. Building inspector, alternate building inspector, conservation committee, council on aging, electrical inspector, alternate electrical and emergency management director. We've got people that are going to be excluded from being able to vote on this. We can't vote on the list as a whole as we usually do because...
I think we should postpone this until we have a full board.
I would think so. Because, Jackie, your husband is what?
Gas inspector.
Glass plumbing and gas alternate?
Yeah,
No, gas inspector, right? Not the alternate.
Yeah, he's the inspector.
Plumbing.
So probably be better if we wait for David.
right.
So we'll table that for next time.
Okay, so we'll go back.
Go back to, no, I think we can probably,
No.
was it page 2 had the liaison committees?
Have you ever used one yet?
I think it was 2, yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah, so, you could do this if you want, but this
Page 3,
is,
is it page 2 or 3?
yeah.
On the bottom of page 3 is your list of liaisons. Ann Roy was almoners. Jackie is community preservation. I'm conservation committee. Ed is energy committee. I'm greenway committee. Ed is Labrie Field. I think I'm now master plan. I think I was at one point in time. I'm personnel policy planning board. David McDougall was public safety, and Doug was named.
Well, Doug can, under the bylaw, it's the highway department has the position. When I can't make it,
Okay, so
according to the bylaw, that I can have a delegate.
he's an alternate or
Now,
a delegate.
Virginia wants to leave it that I don't have a permanent delegate, that the delegate will come when I can't make it. So I talked to her and I said, that's fine, you're gonna see more of somebody else.
We have school committee with Ann Roy, which I would normally suggest would be Elizabeth, but that might present the problem.
Anyone else I was thinking? What about the warrants, the bill warrant and the payroll warrant with
I
Yeah,
would,
we've been thinking about that,
Jack
yeah.
and
Well, it'll probably be resolved after I retire, but until then, we
Yeah, we'll
might
wait
have to separate the warrants. You know what I mean? If she's doing the school, she doesn't sign the school, I can sign the school. When the highway department comes up, I won't sign it. I might have to do 3 separate warrants. As
Well,
long as,
we
and the
talked
same
about-
thing for Jackie.
we talked to, what's her name, on Friday when we,
Pat Cantor.
I Cantor, and I forget what she said, it just for 2 of us to sign, I think.
I don't.
But I can't wait to make it official.
Yeah, we can do it.
We could break up the warrant into 3 sections and...
You know, it's not...
Abstain from the, because you did that years ago.
Yeah. So we'll have to direct...
It's fine with me, whatever's work, but I don't want to have it come back and...
No, I think that makes sense, that we'll have to direct the treasurer's office
Okay.
to do that. But we still have the problem of school committee. Who'd like to be the liaison to the school committee?
Well, it's just a suggestion. Can we appoint somebody? If they can't make it, at least we have somebody can say, and one of our selectmen are gonna go there?
Yeah,
If we don't, I mean, like an alternate to that?
yeah, I don't
And
know.
only because if there might be issues that she's involved with, if, say Jackie has it, and she can't make it, but she wants somebody there.
Yeah.
One of us could fill in if she tells us as an alternate. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know?
So the
Not
question,
that I'm giving you the job.
I know,
I know, I know, you're careful.
this is coming my way, isn't it?
I'm just making an example of you.
Okay.
well, you know what? Actually, David only has one appointment here. David McDougal only has one appointment there. And he's not here to defend himself.
Okay, give it to him.
Yeah, perfect.
So I take,
Do you want to consult the school first?
I would take a motion to appoint David McDougal as the school committee liaison.
I second that.
I don't know, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the other thing that I don't see here, Reggie, is Hank Barton's position to the,
He asked not to be
And then he-
reappointed, but...
yep, then he took it
Oh,
back.
that Courtney, he took it back?
he took it back because Courtney's leaving town.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Hank was offered his letter of resignation to the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, and then called me to take it back because Courtney Haft is leaving town.
Okay.
Only just leave that open till it's all set. Is it all set?
No, he wants it.
Okay.
Hank
that's
wants it
fine.
back.
We'll put it in there.
So I would accept a motion to appoint Hank Barton as our representative to the Pioneer Valley Planning Board. Someone make that motion.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that takes care of that.
Jackie, you want to stay with community preservation?
Yes.
Okay.
So everything else, so then we make those appointments, liaison appointments as outlined in the agenda, other than appointing David McDougal to school committee?
That's fine.
Is there a motion on that?
I make a motion that it stays as is, with the exception of Dave McDougal for the school department, but how about the almoners? We're missing somebody.
We're missing. Well, then we'll give Elizabeth will take, do you want to call Elizabeth, or how do you?
Liz.
Liz? Okay.
Not Betty?
That's
Okay, just checking.
I probably won't do it right for a while. So we'll give,
I make a motion that we appoint Dave McDougal to the school committee, Rose to the almoners, and everything else stays as is,
and Hank to the,
and Hank to the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, well, we have some time to kill before the next item on the agenda. I have a payroll warrant deduction. How can we handle this tonight?
Why don't you just sign two, you sign two.
Yeah,
Have Dave come in, because that's not separated out.
no.
Can I sign this?
Oh, no, you can't, right?
Yeah, no.
Oh, wow. Now I think I have all the power.
Good.
All right, let's see.
Want to take Richard Lexack's letter?
Yeah, let's do that. Is that's in the package on page, we're going to talk about page 8 of 27, Mr. Umel's property. There's a series of documents there. You know what, though, this presents an awful problem if we don't appoint these, because we have police officers and not there. I don't know whether...
Their term doesn't end, I wasn't specific on the date, I just wrote May 2013.
Oh, okay.
You can do that next week.
As long as there's no gap there.
If you want to appoint just the police officers, you can do that right now.
Well, let's see, let's take
Get
another...
more comfortable with that.
Yeah. Actually, it's... Well, Jackie can't vote on the plumbing inspector. What can't you vote on?
I am the health, emergency management. And you're gonna have to find somebody new for that after I...
Yeah, after you retire anyway. But that's the only two positions,
Right.
right? So if we made a motion to appoint everybody but the plumbing and gas inspector by one...
Well, plumbing, why don't we just abstain, so we can vote that in?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or we simply leave those two positions to be the reorganized to the next time. We will not vote on the emergency management director or the plumbing and gas inspector. The rest of the list, I would take a motion to appoint to their annual positions, and then we'll take those two positions up the next time.
I make a motion to appoint all the representatives on the sheet marked 5/7/13 for reappointment, with the exception of the plumbing and gas inspector and the emergency management director.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so, but we gotta be careful to make sure that comes back up on those two positions next time.
And so I should say abstain.
Yeah. Well, no, you didn't have to abstain because we didn't vote on his position.
Oh,
And then we were going to Rich Alexak's memo that's in your package on Mr. Umel's property and his concise report to us that, according to him, Mr. Umel has not done anything. And what would he like us to do? And I think...
I may be mistaken, but I thought Mr. Umel said he was not able to start until after he was out of working with the school. And that was going to end at the end of May, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know how it was written up, but I know that we had this discussion, we wanted a monthly progress report on what was done, and I've been out there once or twice, and McDougal's been out there recently since then. There has been some activity in the sense that vehicles have been moved around, but clean up, no.
Okay.
But, I mean, we wanted to see that there was a good faith effort going on, I thought on a monthly basis, that's why we asked Rich to do this. But, we don't see it, and,
Well,
what's your pleasure?
yeah, please notify me if you would like further action taken at this time. What would we like him to do?
what are the proper procedures? We'd get a verbal, a written warning? I mean, what?
Disciplinary action, but there was a letter, if you remember, written by town council for this issue, that Rich came in here, he wanted not to do this, he wanted to give it to conservation to do, and we told Rich, you do the enforcement that you're responsible for, and conservation will do their own enforcement, what they're responsible for. Then Rich came back and he said he wanted to talk to lawyers. You can correct me if I'm wrong. He contacted town council, and I don't know, was it David Dineski or was it Joe Fair?
I thought it was
Pat Cantor. A letter was written telling him that under the statute, he had so many days to clean it up. And I might be wrong in a number of days, that's why I'm not going to quote it. But, and we came in here, took the letter, advised, he got the letter, he came in here and pleaded with us to give him some more time. And we would, and I think we gave him till end of August. And what we said, we wanted a monthly progress report. And this is about 45 days old.
What about if we tell him to come in sometime at one of our next meetings and we want to hear from him the progress he says has been made before?
That's fine.
How would that be?
No, that's
That gives him time to, one, if he's smart, he'll do something, and two, if he does not, he'll give us something to come in and tell us.
And also maybe some pictures so we can see some
Well,
different
Rich has got pictures.
Rich has got pictures in there for it.
updated.
Yeah. All right, so I guess, do we want to have him come in
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Yeah. Which would be, are we going to be,
Oh, he's here right now.
oh, Mr. Umel's here.
Yes. Come on up, Mr.
We
Yuma.
were talking about it. Your ears must have been burning. We were going to have you come in 2 weeks to tell us what's been going on out there since building inspector has sent us a notice that he can't see any progress that's been made.
Here's a copy of the notice.
Well, I told the committee before that we were trying to get a date of September 1st to keep everybody happy, and that I was working at the school for 6 more weeks. The 6 weeks is almost up now, and I think next week I'll be able to spend all day over there. what has been going on is I've been getting the things ready that move things, to be able to move things. And that is what has been going on so far.
And maybe we stick to it.
Stick to our plan.
Plan to come in. We'd like to hear from you 2 weeks from tonight. Before we set that, are we going to meet, since we're not having a reorganization meeting, but are we going to continue our every week meeting, or are we going to try and go to an every other week meeting for the summer schedule?
No, my feeling is until the budget, we should meet whatever warrants it, and
Well-
after that, get back to the same
Okay,
schedule.
so 2 weeks from tonight, we'll meet with Mr. Yin.
Special town meeting is 2 weeks from tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So, how about this time in 1 month?
1 month from tonight, which would be,
Yeah, that'd be better.
by 1 month from tonight, we really need to see some progress.
Well, we'll see something.
I mean, there's a concern with the fuel that might be in those tanks out there.
11th? I'm sorry, June 11th?
There's some other pictures.
June 11th is, yeah.
That's
Put Mr. Umel on at 6:30 and we'll take care of it right away. And notify Rich that we'd like to hear from him too. All right?
Will you give me that?
You can have
Yeah, you can have that. Those are
the
pictures.
pictures that building inspector gave us.
But we really need to see some progress by the next month, June 11th.
Yes,
And
I
we're hoping
agree.
for September 1st to be just about wiped out.
Right. Well, in the next month, we should be able to get anything that's in the way out of the way and have the front half should be.
I mean, we're not gonna organize it on how you wanna do it.
No, I'm organizing, I'm doing it, I got it all set in my mind. I'll show you in a month what I did, and I hope you'll be happy with it.
Well, and on that note, I just thought, my personal opinion is, a month from now, we don't want to see that stuff has just been moved around.
No.
We don't want to be shuffling chairs on the Titanic.
No, we're not shuffling chairs.
We want to see some actual stuff going out of there.
I understand that.
You know, because I think the fear of this committee is that in August, you'll be here saying, I need some more time to get it out of there. And we need to have it accomplished.
I'm not gonna tell you I need more time to get it out of there another month.
Well, we've given you till...
I'm gonna tell you what happened, in a month, and, I think you'll be happy with that. If you're not happy with that, then you tell me what you're not happy with, and we'll try to alleviate that situation.
Well, let me back it up right now.
Say that again.
You got a letter from our town council. We were, fair enough with you. That letter says
Right.
immediately, we gave you to, September 1st or the end of August.
And I'm trying to go on with what you...
I understand that, but you're not gonna drive the control here. We gave you a deadline to do it, and we were more than flexible with it.
Right.
You're not in the driver's seat.
Oh, I didn't say I was in the
I
driver's
just
seat.
wanna make that clear.
I'm just
Okay.
trying to explain...
I just want to make sure, because you come in and do 50% of the cleanup, you're well on your way to doing it. It's August 31st. We need to have this cleaned up. It's been going on for many years, many years.
I understand.
Okay. And we've been lenient enough. We just want to see progress.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
June 11th.
Bye, Mr. Mill.
We now used up our time, and we will meet with Red Rock. I'm not sure what the official title is, but Red Rock Pizza concerning it says Red Rock Live Entertainment.
Live entertainment license.
Okay,
Thank you.
maybe I'm confused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, who's going to speak?
Just I have only open, and I thought I had already read live entertainment, but since we don't have it, so just applying so we have a DJ or karaoke or something. So we're not having something or something built to have live entertainment. That's all. And the other thing, I don't know, maybe we discussed that.
I'm a board member for Victory for Veterans, and what we are is, as you can see on the paperwork, is we have a motorcycle ride coming through on June 1st. What we're looking to do is, we have about 1,500 to 2,000 motorcycles that are joining this ride, and we're coming through Southampton. Our only beneficiary is the recreational fund for the soldiers, all from the soldiers, the veterans that are up there. Once they're in there, they don't come out. I mean, that's, their demise is there. It's a real good program that we have. Our government keeps cutting back and cutting back. This is our way of saying thank you. We're expecting to give them at least a $50,000 check this year to go right to the recreational fund, which is going to help them if they want to go to Mohegan Sun for the weekend, they want extra pizza, they want to go bingo, whatever. We're going to pay for all of that. What we're looking to do is we're coming through town roughly, we're supposed to have kickstands up at the Soldiers Home at 11:30. Come through town, stop at Southampton Harley Davidson, which right next there is Red Rock Pizza, Red Rock Stadium, whatever you guys call it, Red Rock Stadium, okay? The problem we're running into is they have a capacity limit. Plus, I don't myself, but there are people that ride their motorcycles and like to have a beer and continue on the ride. That's what we're running into. We don't want to go over capacity. What we're looking to do to be able to make these people happy is someplace so that they can sit, let's have a beer, okay? Say thank you to Southampton Harley, and boom, we're out the door. We're looking to be here, 2 o'clock would be the absolute latest, but I guess what I'm asking for is there a way that we can cordon off a section so that these people can walk in, grab a beer, stand outside, whether it's on the sidewalk or roped off area, so that they can just have it and not run out over capacity. We're not looking for people that are gonna get drunk in an hour and a half. We're just looking for a little, and they're also serving food too.
Yeah, we're having a free buffet for the ride, just to try and help the benefit along. It's kind of, one hand washes the other. They'd be coming in to get a drink or whatnot.
Yeah, it's under new ownership, so we're, well, fortunately Todd can't be here with us tonight. But, we're looking to help out Todd, he's looking to help us out. Where Southampton Harley has donated and promised us $75 for every bike they sell in this month. So that's why our stop is there. We're coming through town, and we're just looking for our good graces to be welcomed for all this. But we don't want to cause any problems, so we're asking for permission. And if we could somehow do something.
First of all, it's not our parking lot. Okay?
It's not what?
It's not our parking lot.
Well, no,
It
but
doesn't even abut a town road, it's a state highway. That's one thing that should be taken into consideration. Did you talk to the chief today after I talked to you?
I did talk to the chief today, and
He said he was gonna stop in here.
Right, he said he was gonna speak with somebody, and whether we're gonna go speak with town council.
that's what he would like to do. He has some severe reservations on the whole thing. What is and I have some, as you spoke, I had some questions. What is the capacity of that building anyway?
Red Rock Pizza,
I have a,
225. Chief stood up when I asked that question and evidently has something. Fire chief.
Right. Before you go any farther, I was there yesterday because I believe they are looking for an entertainment license at that establishment.
If that's 15J
And
College.
because of that, they have changed the whole outline of that establishment. Safety-wise, there are problems. The state fire marshal, myself, and the building inspector have a meeting tomorrow. We stopped by their establishment yesterday, wanted to meet with someone, nobody showed up. The state fire marshal is now involved. So before you get into saying okay to any permits, you should wait until you hear about our investigation, what we have concerns about, and we'll get back to you.
All right, let me just make sure I understand. We have the entertainment license here, and it's for the same location, correct?
correct.
yeah, but that is something, this is.
I know, but you're speaking to the whole.
I would be very concerned of putting 225 people into that area. And because he wants to change the status of that building, it changes the safety regulations. Because of that, they may have to do a lot of updates, and before those updates are done, they can't have the permits for any type of entertainment in there.
What if we just so we're not, just what if we put the entertainment license away for now, and they're just asking for this crowd.
Right.
Do you have problems with that?
Before you...
Let me let the fire, I'm asking the fire chief, let me ask,
I would think anytime you put that amount of people in that tight of an area, you're gonna have problems.
Hold on. The reason I want...
wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Are you all set though?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The reason that we're asking for this, for what we're asking to do is so that doesn't happen.
I
Now, we
understand.
understand that, granted, we're not saying all 1,500 or 2,000 people are going into Red Rock Stadium. That's not gonna happen. I know that for a fact. What we're asking for is so we do not cause a problem with that many people going in, that we have an area that we can extend into. People are gonna be over at the Harley shop. That's where we're hoping 75% of the bikes are gonna be. But there is gonna be the overflow. I myself do not drink when I have my bike. I've never done it. Okay? There are many, many people that are the same way. But we're asking for this special permit. If we can just, even the sidewalk like they do in Northampton, where you can sit, have your dinner, and have your glass of wine. That's all we're asking for.
I'm no expert, but if you have one beer and get on that motorcycle, you've got a problem within about 30 minutes.
Well, you have that problem if you get behind the wheel of a car. too.
Exactly. But I spoke to the chief in depth today. Frankly, I think I can relay that he's not in favor of this alcohol outside part of this. He did want us to refer it to town council for their opinion, to see if it's even permissible. It's his impression that it's not even permissible. We don't have the authority to grant it. So that's the first question, is whether we have the authority to grant it. Two, I have some concerns that if you're bringing 1,500 riders, and let's be clear, we're not saying we don't support the veterans. That's not the issue here.
I understand.
The issue here is public safety for our citizens. And the first question becomes, with 1,500 people in that concentrated area, even if we're talking about both parking lots, are you prepared, and the access to the state highway, and the control of traffic on is this a Sunday or a Saturday?
It's a Saturday.
Saturday between Big Y and that parking lot, are you people ready to pay private duty to police officers to supervise the area?
That's something that needs to be discussed, but we do have a bank account, but,
Well,
like I said, the more we take out of the bank account, the less that we get.
And I understand that, but my one concern right now is public safety in this town.
I agree.
So that's number one condition that would have to get imposed, simply traffic flow and crowd control, and it's not going, and we're not talking one officer. 1,500 people would require a detail of officers, to be sure.
Now, is it possible that that could be donated by officers?
It's possible, but I would suspect you better be prepared for 4-hour shifts.
Well, who would I converse with?
And the other thing too, the officers have to be from Southampton, if you're even thinking about it, because their jurisdiction is...
Absolutely, I fully understand.
But I'm not sure that would be allowable.
We don't know. It's just, it seems at a minimum, we'd have to have some crowd control there. At a minimum.
Because I know that Mr. Illingsworth, I believe, was at Southampton Harley last weekend for their party. He was directing traffic there. And that's fine. I don't have a problem talking to, Mr. Silverman, Chief Silverman about, what we need. Because what we're looking to do is, we don't want any problems. We want to come through this town just to have, for what we're doing.
Right, we'd like you to come through and go out and...
That's what we're going to do. We're going to come through.
Let me ask you another thing, is Harley Davidson doing a joint, they having a joint activity at the same time?
I don't believe they're doing, they had theirs last weekend. I mean, they're...
Well, I live behind that, and they have something almost every weekend, I'm just telling you. I just wanted to know, because if they're having something at the same time, and that's going on at the same time, it's a lot more than 1,500 bikes.
No, we're not, they haven't planned an event like what we have coming through. They had theirs last weekend where they had their 3,000 people show up. We're not...
One question, those parking lots aren't interconnected, are they? Between
Yes, they are.
Harley and them? Okay, so we don't have to have traffic going out and around to go into...
It's still gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah,
And then plus you got Big Y on a Saturday.
I know.
The chief needs to look at a management plan if it's gonna go forward, but we don't have the answers from town council.
No, so I would take a motion, well, first of all, as far as the request, did you put together a formal request to us, or is this it?
This is it.
This is it. I think the first thing we have to do is find out whether we have the authority to grant an extension of the license, and that may end up
Well,
there.
yeah, I mean, the alcohol license, and Reggie might be able to put some light on it. Is that only inside the property or outside?
I don't know. I called ABCC today.
It's only inside. So when they carry it outside, your liability's gone, and because we sponsored it, it's our liability?
Well, we're not sponsoring.
If we okay
it. Condone it.
Okay, condone it. So, I mean, those are things that we need to find out.
Right. We need to know whether or not we can, whether their license, one, lets it go outside, which I don't think it does.
Not the
Two,
carry.
whether we can grant an extension to the license to allow consumption outside. And if we can, under what conditions, what conditions can we impose and what...
Well, the other thing too is there's going to be a security portion to this to make sure there's a coordinated effort and a controlled effort exiting and entering the parking lot because of all the traffic out there.
So should we, and as part of that list that we were reading, a question to town council, what public safety requirements can we impose on the applicant for security and for police
It's an
protection?
issue. I mean,
The other part of this is, I can understand your security issues of, everything going on. Literally, we're talking an hour and a half.
but you're still funneling those people
Oh,
in and out in an hour and a
If I
half.
gotta pay 4-hour shifts for a couple, we'll have to do
Well,
it.
we have details, and there's a reason why there's details, like on a road job with a construction crew and that. Things will funnel down to single lanes, or, people have to enter and exit, and you need to control. We don't expect you to control that. We need a professional out there controlling this.
Well, there may be another, we may have to have, to do this, we may have to conduct, we certainly would have to conduct a hearing, which would require notice to abutters for their license, I would think.
Well, the license doesn't condone going outside.
No, but I'm saying if we have the authority to grant an extension of the license to outside, because there's a change in their license, we may have to have a hearing to do that.
You have to have a hearing on all of them.
You might have to go through a hearing process.
Is this something, I'm not trying to, listen, I'm here because I want to make things as easy as possible for everybody. We have, what is it, 3 weeks plus?
And you brought it to us today.
Well, no, I understand that, I'm not trying to...
Well, we'll talk to town council, we'll try and talk to town council tomorrow.
And we've already been put on notice by the fire marshal not to sign anything.
Well, that's a separate issue.
It's all part of the
Right.
approval process.
If
Right.
I could just have one moment, I know the fire marshal, I don't want you to take it as a sign of disrespect. I took over Red Rock in February with Todd Dennis, who was diagnosed with a brain tumor 3 weeks ago. I was his general manager. He's doing well, but I was thrust into everything, pretty much on a day basis. So I'm just trying to make sure that we do everything by the books. It's whoever...
No, I understand what you're saying, but you also have to understand, it's not just, we'd love to see you give all this money to the Soldiers Home. I think everybody on this board here is in favor of seeing this activity, but the activity has liabilities. And we need to address those liabilities up front with everybody, and our main concerns is the people of Southampton.
I agree.
Okay, and that's where it's gonna come. And if it means we go to a lawyer, we listen to the fire marshal, the police chief, and fire chief, these are our experts, and the building inspector, we will listen to them.
Absolutely, if you guys,
She has a question.
if nothing changes, nothing changes, I fully understand
The
that.
building has nothing to do with that business.
Yeah, this event is...
This is separate.
I'm just saying... for the-
No,
for the-
I understand what you're saying, but the
Oh,
point
that's
is,
the chief.
there's an activity going on, and they're interrelated throughout the process. And, we need to know where our responsibility is, and, need to identify your responsibility if this happens. And this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take one step at a time.
All right, Liz?
I just want to know, this is the second annual motorcycle run, so
Correct.
if you did it last year, did you have something like this?
We actually had 3 different stops last year. Exactly where they were, I don't remember, they were different VFWs. And
So they already had the ability to take the alcohol outside?
yeah, VFWs, I guess they did, or it's-
Okay.
I don't know.
So it wasn't an
I
issue
wasn't
before now?
involved at that point.
Liz, the difference, I think the VFW is a club.
Okay, yeah.
This is a
I just wondered
restaurant,
if
bar.
they, were going through town and tried to stop at a bar last year and weren't able to, or,
Well, we
This is different.
stopped at 2 different VFWs, and then our end result was up in Chicopee, I believe it was the Ambets. And, you know, you could drink on the premises inside, outside. I mean, we had big 3-party, 3 bands and everything. And this year, because of what Southampton Harley, Aaron Patrick himself was doing for us, we figured we were going to make one of his stops. So even if people haven't been to his establishment yet, we're introducing. And same thing with Red Rock now that, he and Todd have taken over.
I know for a fact that last year, it wasn't your establishment, but we had an establishment that caused a lot of problems and headaches for the police department on a given Saturday, and it was an issue. And those are costs that we have to eat and we have to carry out. Whether they go to court, they arrest these people or not, but these are costs that we're concerned about, and it wasn't a pleasant atmosphere from what I understand.
And the chief has walked in. Chief, could we have your attention up here for a minute? This is the application for the conversation about the motorcycle coming to town. And we've tabled it, I think, or we're about to, and we're going to contact town council with some issues that I'd have Reggie go back to you to see if we missed any of your concerns. If we could you read back what we were going to talk to?
The first one is, do you have the authority, select board have the authority to grant the extension of the license? That's the first thing they're going to ask for. The second thing, Ed questioned about the access to the state highway and then asking if they would pay private duty officers to help with the traffic. And then it goes back to the alcohol outside license and what are the extension, what conditions?
Can we impose?
I have another question, but let's say, can one person get 1 day permit, anybody in town?
We do grant 1-day permits at
At Kona Park for a family
Just in
atmosphere.
Coral Park.
Kona Park only.
Chief, is there anything you wanted to add or say about that?
I think you covered it. The main concerns are the legality of allowing off-premises alcohol consumption, i.e. out in the parking lot. And then, obviously we have the traffic control concerns with police manpower. So I think you've addressed it.
And Chief Kalita, would we, something like this, with that many people, if it proves to be that many people, should there be fire protection on site?
No, but I would almost think that one would have a couple people at the station, only because, as everyone knows, we're an on-call department. If anything should happen that bad there where we got a car versus motorcycle accident, it'd be much easier to respond right from the station to there. So there's going to be a cost involved with that, of having somebody at the station.
Now, when you have your guys on, are they on for 4 hours or are they on for smaller periods of time?
When I have them there, anybody, the weekend shift is a 12-hour shift. If they were at the station, I could probably do it the time that the event was going on.
Is it possible that you could, and I'm just asking, okay, is it possible that a couple of your guys would donate their time to sit at the station and wait if something happens?
If they did, they probably wouldn't be working for the town of Southampton. They would have to have their own liability insurance.
That's right, sir.
Because they would be doing more or less an outside detail. The town wouldn't sponsor them.
All right.
So they'd have to automatically get their own liability insurance to do that.
It's okay.
Now, the other issue that we have is the entertainment license for the same location. So we have 2 issues. Is everybody satisfied that we dealt with that, the first issue of liquor outside of the establishment?
Yes.
Okay. So now, going back to the entertainment license that we've been requested. And the statute is, I think, in your chapter 140. Shall state the type of concert, dance, cabaret, etc. State whether or not part of the concert, dance, cabaret permitted to appear on the premises in manner attire to expose the public portion of, I take it we're not having adult dancing. I can skip that paragraph then.
I got no comment. That's not the plan.
Oh, the same thing, kind of have it open.
Conditions of the premises action shall be taken or prevent talks here, once the license has been
The
granted.
largest benefit we've had there, we haven't had more than 150 people tops. I mean, it's never, we just, not too many people know about us, we're trying to get noticed.
Only yes, if party, when we have, for example,
Within 45 days following the receipt of an application for a license under this section, the licensing authority, which is us, may grant the license or shall provide the opportunity for a hearing on the application by written notice to the applicant given 7 days prior.
and I think, I don't know, Brett, maybe it's not better. In the past years, maybe was years that we had the live entertainment there. So
Red
we-
Rock? Not that I know
We never
of.
had?
No.
The licensing authority shall grant the license under this section, unless they find that the license taken alone or in combination with other would adversely affect the public health. The licensing authority may modify, suspend, or revoke the license granted pursuant to this section after providing an opportunity for hearing. In order to preserve and protect the public health, the licensing authority may place conditions upon the license and promulgate rules and regulations for such license. The licensing authority may modify, suspend, or revoke a license pursuant to this section for violation. A license under this section, unless sooner revoked, shall expire on December 31st of each year. No license under this section shall be granted to permit such activities before 1 o'clock in the afternoon or without written approval, and et cetera, et cetera. But we now have fire chief with an issue on public safety, so
Just a question for Reggie. This one's not signed. Is this one coming up, or this is just a copy?
That's actually what you would sign.
this is what we signed for.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
This is what the
The
application.
current license, when does this expire? You know?
They do not, I'm sorry.
They don't have a.
They don't have a current
entertainment, they have a liquor
license.
license.
Okay. And I hate to throw this into it. Are they the new owners?
Legally, no. I'm still going.
Well,
Yes.
who's responsible for liability?
Yes.
Because your name is still on the license,
My brothers, yes. Going to switch.
and there's new people in there. Are they buying the license?
Well, in the process, Bill Gates is doing the transfer of the legal license, but that got too, so it had operation, so slowly.
So, I mean, on paper, he's not the owner, he sublet.
He's listed, yes, he's listed.
And
Well,
you,
yes.
so you're the owner on
Yes,
record?
Yes.
Okay, because if he's bought the place from you, in my mind, I want to know who owns the license.
Well,
And,
Who's the manager on the license?
my brother,
Still,
yes,
and he still functions as the manager.
yes. Well, me,
Well,
that'll need to be asked too, just so we can have clarification.
Right.
What will?
There's another party running the restaurant under the license, but it's owned by a third, the former owner.
It's owned by a corporation, and are you
The manager can be changed, the manager, how you say, you can be the manager,
Yeah.
anybody can be the manager.
I understand, but I'm ignorant to those, and I want somebody to tell me I
Are
don't
you
know what I'm talking
incorporated?
about.
I'm not, it's Todd's, it's
Yes.
under Todd's.
But he's incorporated?
Yes.
So we have one corporation owning the license and controlling the license, and another corporation operating under the license. The question is, can that sub-corporation work under their liquor license? Do you have a rental agreement or a lease agreement or something?
Bill Gates, we're in the process of bringing the paper for the transfer of the legal license, but he got sick when he had operation, so.
These are just things we need to address.
Right, but based on the chief's position about public safety, it would appear that the thing to do with the liquor license is to table it for the time being until the chief can report back to us about the fire or public safety problems that's there. Does that seem appropriate to the board?
Yes.
But we have some time constraints here.
If I may, Chief Kalita, were you going to have an answer by next Tuesday?
Yes, I should have. Like I said, I'm meeting with the state fire marshal tomorrow and hopefully the building inspector. We're going to go over to the establishment. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. And they all deal with the live entertainment license that they're looking for, a permit. Like I said, I heard this weekend there was already live entertainment there.
There is going to be on,
Okay,
When Tom-
without a permit. What was the capacity you said you had in there? At one time maximum?
for the bands, there was less than 100 people.
Okay.
It's a very small band, they're not very well known, so.
There's new ordinance out because of the Rhode Island fire.
Yeah.
Once you start having live entertainment, you are no longer considered a bar, a restaurant. You're now under nightclub activities. Because of that, there's a whole bunch of safety issues that we have to talk about, concerns that have to be addressed. So that's where we're going. I wanted to speak to somebody today prior to this meeting. The one I spoke to, like I said, was the state fire marshal, and he's coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chief Silvernail, you have several questions that need to be, that you already identified, but you need to communicate those with town council. So I would feel that when Regina talks to them, that they can hook up a meeting to directly talk to you and resolve these issues one way or the other. And we can hear back from you by next Tuesday, both of you. That's my motion.
Well, and the other thing I want to make sure is that we, as a separate side issue, how long do we have to grant or reject this entertainment license? You know, what's our time? Because the statute seems to say we have 7...
After the hearing.
7 days after the hearing, but it doesn't say how soon the hearing has to be. At least I can't quit reading.
We've never done a hearing before.
I know.
When we granted it for Harley and we granted it for the other businesses, we've never done.
Yeah, but I think this is one where we may want to do a hearing because of the public safety aspects of it. We want to hear that these have been resolved, so...
Following the 14-day notice, notify the abutters would make more.
Well, we had, within 45 days, this is my problem, within 45 days following the receipt of an application, which I assume this is going to be, for a license under this section, this licensing authorities may grant a license or shall provide the opportunity for a hearing. So it seems like we have 45 days to grant or reject this or have a hearing, but I want to know that.
Well, just to meet the time constraints, they should get an answer as early as next week, I hope.
Right, but I'm just saying, if the public safety aspect drags on, then we've got to reject this before the expiration of 45 days, but I want to be sure of that. And I hopefully will have it all resolved sooner. Robert?
Robert Floyd, 15 East Street. Did I hear them say it was June 1st?
The ride is June 1st.
It's dry June 1st. If you're going to have a hearing, there may be X amount of weeks of notification.
Oh, yeah.
Posted in the
This may be.
paper. And so maybe working backwards will give you a narrower window of opportunity.
Yeah, but again, this is the entertainment license, and that's the alcohol license, and yeah, I agree with you. We may have to have a hearing because of an expansion of the license, and we may have to notify butters, and time may be expired before we can do all of that.
And there's a time frame for notifying the butters. There's a time frame,
Yeah.
including that with butters.
Yeah, but again, whether we even have the authority to grant that license is the issue.
We'll know that next week, but
Anything else on this issue? Chief, fellows? All right, when did this come to us?
They actually came last week, if I'm not mistaken, and the agendas were already posted, so.
All right, so let's come to an agreement as to what date we received this. What date do you say we received this? Today's the 7th.
Yeah,
April 30th?
yeah. Yes.
And we agree that we received, everybody agrees that this was received in our office on April 30th. So the clock starts running on April 30th. Okay, so enter that into the minutes, that they're in agreement that it's April 30th, and that should appear on our agenda every time until, with a reminder that 45 days from now, some action has to be taken. Somebody gave me this. Anything else, gentlemen?
It's everything.
I would suggest you may want to visit us next week. Do we have a meeting? Here we go again.
You do.
We do have a meeting, okay. You may want to visit us, we'll put you down for
6:37.
what time, Reg?
You already have someone coming in at 6:30, so is about 7 o'clock, is that okay?
6:30 is fine, I'll wait that. All right.
Well, why don't we make it 6:15?
6:15.
Oh, 6:45.
6:45.
Can't do the math. Can't do the math, sorry about that.
Mike, can I say something?
Yes, why didn't you stick your hand up?
I just want to say, my grandfather was at the Hoyok Soldiers Home, and they took great care of him. He actually passed away there. And I will do everything I can to make this, to keep in contact with you and try to help you out.
Appreciate it very much. I mean, like I said, our end result is we want to take care of, our motto is we want to give them a better quality of life.
Right, yeah,
We just want to improve on that.
of course.
The programs that they have up there, as you know well, they have a model that no one leaves by the back door.
Yeah.
So if somebody passes away, they take them right back out the front door the way they came in.
Yeah.
You know, it's dear to us. My fiance's a veteran, my father's a veteran, I got more veterans in my family. And just to go up there and visit and take a private tour, it's just inspiring.
Right.
So for us to be able to help and do what we can, that's our biggest goal. That's why I'm here today, is I don't want to create a problem in the town. That's why I'm talking to Chief Silver, I'm talking to the board
Right.
here. You know, we want to make this as easy as possible. And like I said, we're only here for an hour and a half. We want to try to make everybody happy. That's our end result.
Right.
You know, if we can do that, great. That's all we're asking for, is just a little slightly way, if we can word it that way, but I understand that there are major concerns, and we'll have to cross some bridges when we get to them.
Right.
And do it the right way.
And we're going to work with you and do the best we can. And thank you.
That's all we're asking for.
Thank you for helping the veterans. My daughter's a Marine.
Okay.
I'm bragging. So, and we're a family of service, so we'll help you out.
Saturday, my son joins the Young Marines on West Road.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's a
That's
beautiful thing.
exciting, yeah.
All right, well, I thank the board very much.
Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, 6:45.
All right.
Appreciate it.
And just before we go on to another issue, I want to be clear, I have two financial warrants here. We have a payroll deduction warrant PD 13-45 in the amount of $41,005.18, and a payroll warrant P 1345 in the amount of $238,076.21, and I will say that I'm the only one here who can sign them. So those go back down to Reggie. So those are signed. Finance Committee after last night.
Coming up as a town administrator committee, you wanted to report.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Did you give them that envelope?
Oh, John, this came to Mike's house.
Came yesterday to my house.
There might be references.
Yeah, probably, I recognize the name, but it's not one we have to worry about. Yeah, as far as the budget goes, it'll be down, it'll be balanced, and you won't like it.
Well, that means it's a successful budget. No one likes it.
There's no Hampshire debt, we took it all up, but there's no free cash. It's zero all the way across, but it is what you requested, so. But I'm taking the fire away from Darren. Okay, so
No, he's not here.
he'll be down, he's finalizing, he's printing out copies for you folks. So the town administrator review committee, we change the name all the time. We met with 6 finalists last week. We did the courtesy interview with Reggie, so we met with 7 people. We decided that we didn't know what a courtesy interview was, so we decided to do the same thing for everybody. Same questions. We had a set questions that were established prior to the interviews. Asked questions to everybody. They all had an hour. We took all the responses down. At the end of the meeting, we voted to come up with 3 finalists like the board wanted. So we have 3 finalists to present to you. And if you want those, I'll be happy to give them to you. And they have not been alerted. I would do that tonight if you want me to do that.
I would think that's the thing to do.
I think we need to accept him, do it in public, and then he can
Do we have packages? Do you,
You have a resume?
but do we have enough packages for everybody?
You don't. That would be, I would think. Or you can do that to make things, because I don't have copies for everything.
Well, then we'll take those from you.
Okay. I don't know if you want to read the names into the record or not, it's up to you.
I have been presented with 3 documents. Are these in any particular order? Did you give them to
No
me?
particular order.
Craig Kleeman?
Well, actually, it's Clement.
Clement? Okay. William Manzi III and Michael Slozik?
Slozak.
Slozik? Okay, I should be able to do better with those names. All right, I would suggest that we have Reggie go out and make us 5 sets of these.
I don't need any.
Oh, you have them?
I have one.
Oh, so how about 3 sets? And then we'll give John back the originals.
I'll do that. I do have copies myself, if you don't.
Well, let's keep the originals somewhere. Then we'll keep the originals in our office, we'll make copies and keep the originals in our office. Are you going to keep the original, all the other originals? They should probably go together wherever they are,
So
so.
you keep the originals, or you want the originals?
I don't care, but I think all the originals should be in one place so that we have one file folder, so since those are here,
Well, let me back up it. They need to go through an interview with us. If something happens where we don't agree on somebody, there's still 4 or 5 people that we didn't bring into interview. So I wouldn't recommend destroying or
no,
losing them.
no, that's what I'm saying, is I think all of them should be in one place.
Do you want me to keep them?
Then we'll give them back to
I have the
you.
whole.
Then you keep them.
For the time being.
All right. Okay. That's it?
I have something else. I'd like to move to dissolve the committee, the interview committee now, for, that particular,
Well, we still have the fire chiefs. Did we
well, I
ever?
mean, for that particular,
Town administrator?
I would say that would be fine if we had a finalist and we signed one on. Until we sign one on and have a finalist, I would recommend that be done after the process is completed. Because if we have to, we do not find one of these candidates as a board that we want, we still have to continue with the program and re-interview who's to be meeting on that list. Or even re-advertise and start all over again. So I vote not to dissolve the committee this time.
Well, then somebody's got to do it by way of motion. Is there any further discussion? Then somebody's got to make a motion to do something. Otherwise,
I'll make a motion to leave the committee intact until the process is complete.
was there a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? And then until
Process is completed.
we've selected someone as a finalist.
Correct.
Everybody understand? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
aye,
Is that a negative vote?
yes.
Okay, so 3, 4, and 1 no.
What I'll do is I'll grab those now, we'll make copies, and
All right.
you can use that machine.
Thank you. Okay, John, when, you're on for 7:15, but obviously,
We were told 7:30 last night.
I wasn't sure.
7:30 to 8 p.m.
okay, all right, so,
Okay, there should be not a few minutes.
no problem.
Just fine.
Okay, then let's go on, we have a 1-day alcohol permit.
That's at Corner Park, right?
Yeah, that's Conant Park. My papers have gotten shuffled up here.
The name was wrong, it should have been Bates.
Huh?
It should have been Bates, not Bear.
Oh, I got that in spades of mine.
No, I know, but that's why you have it crossed off.
Oh, okay.
So we have wait a minute, I got Dennis, there's Dennis. I don't have the copy of the check that we usually,
I don't give you guys, I just tell, at the bottom of that form, I tell you that person.
paid by check, okay, yep, okay. So we have an application for beer and wine, is it beer and wine or all alcohol?
Beer and wine.
Beer and wine license at Conant Park on July 21st. Bartenders are listed, the expected number of people are 50 to 70, it's a bridal shower, 12 to 4 p.m. I have the hold harmless agreement. They paid the fee.
Yeah, I see you pay.
Huh?
It's all paid.
Yep. Somebody want to make a motion to grant the license or not to grant the license?
I make a motion to grant the one-day alcoholic license permit to Dennis Bates for, what's the date?
July 21st.
June 21st?
July 21st.
July 21st. For a beer and wine license.
Just kind of curious if we are going to keep accepting that.
I think it's a good idea. We should have a catering party there.
I have a motion to grant the beer and wine license for July 21st to Dennis Bates. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Don't I usually have to, is that in here? This sign?
It should be.
Oh, yeah. Is there any sense doing the town meeting warrant? Starting to go over that, or does anybody have any problems other than the financial ones? Robert, you have any questions?
No questions.
But we have a meeting Thursday.
Informational meeting.
Right.
Oh, yes.
6:30.
Thursday, yes. 6:30 here, no votes.
Okay.
Do we want to go through the warrant other than those articles, or do you want to do the last? We have PCFs. Did anybody look at the PCFs that are in your folder? They're mostly resignations and retirements. Shuffle my
PCFs.
I shuffled my papers all around. I missed the place.
I make a motion to sign Jane Howard's PCF.
Oh, it must be in here.
Retiring. I also would like to send a letter thanking her for her service to the town. I also would like to make a motion to move, was it Adam Kenny? Acceptance of the PCF for him to take over, I believe. I can't read it, but animal control, or animal inspector. And then Claudia Lucas, her resignation as animal inspector. And also Arthur Peters, I think he's a council on aging van driver that has retired. Make a motion to accept all four.
All in favor, or is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, if that's done, it leaves us with the town meeting warrant. We have meetings May 14th, May 28th. May 9th is Robert's meeting here, informational meeting. May 21st is the annual town meeting. I don't have anything else there. Do you want to start looking at the town meeting warrant?
Well, open time for the public.
Open time for the public would be a good idea. Skip that. Seeing no one raising their hand for open time for the public, would you like to do the warrant?
Yeah.
Article 1 is the presentation of the Richard Allen Educational Awards.
Approve as written.
Okay. The Southampton Master Plan summarized, as summarized.
Approved.
And stop me if you have. Vote to fix salaries of all elected officials for the fiscal year 2013. And for the omnibus budget, which we don't have, so we'll come back to that one. Transfer the sum of $20,401 for the WEPAT loan repayment account.
Is Donna here?
Yeah, she's...
Donna, that's just taking money from an existing account and paying off a debt, am I right?
Yeah, it's taking money that we take in for the septic betterment loans, using it to pay down the septic.
All right, so the money's already there.
That's the money they've paid us back over the year. So we've received $20,000 this year from citizens who've had loans out for septic repair or whatever.
This is an annual.
It's a kind of rotating account kind of thing.
Yep.
We lend money out and we take money back.
Right.
Transfer the sum of $50,000 to the, that's
5 and 6, we should wait.
maybe wait on. Transfer $10,000 from ambulance fee account to the police department wages. This is something we've done on an annual basis for at least the last 2 or 3 years to compensate police first responders, to keep their certifications current, I think is what we decided.
And showing up at the scene.
Yeah. To see if the town transfer $150,000 from the ambulance fees account to ambulance-related expenses, so that the fire chief, who's now gone, I guess, oh no, he's...
No, he's doing
No,
it.
that number's highlighted, we're still waiting for the budget, once that
Oh, we
budget
don't know
comes
that number
down.
yet.
Correct.
That's just a...
All right, so we'll pass that one over. The next is the the transfer station enterprise fund, money,
Regina made the changes on that, which I agree with.
but it's simply money coming in and money going out.
Correct.
It's the
Both
fee-
of them.
the fees we charge and money we pay out. The water fund, so the Article 9 is okay, everybody?
Yes.
Article 10 is okay. Again, that's just a revolving account.
Enterprise.
Right. To see if the treasurer, we allow the treasurer to enter into a compensating balance agreement with banking institutions which allow, that's done so that you can borrow money and,
That's standard.
Yeah. I'm just noticing though that it says fiscal year 2013.
oh,
Should be 14.
14. Nice catch, we'll fix that. Right? Reg?
Yep.
To see if the town will vote to transfer $92,000 from, no. Oh, that's to pay the, well, I guess that still has to say open until they come down. I'm assuming they're paying that. These are the various revolving accounts which allows the plumbing inspector to charge and to spend money up to the amount specified for 14 for, as I recall, that's for experts in that, correct?
Again, I noticed the date says July 1st, 2000.
That will be
Right.
corrected,
We
Of
got-
the fiscal year beginning. Okay.
14.
All right, so we have it, do we have an error there or we don't have an error there?
Just change to 14.
14. All right, Article 13 is, again, what we allow various people to charge and pay out for various services if they can't do it themselves. I'm familiar with the planning board one, so they can hire experts to review plans. Article 14, $10,000 from community preservation to Parks Commission to be used to provide a memorial area in Crossroads Park for purposes, and reflective is contemplative. I keep thinking it's to show up.
May I,
Angel Park, right? Yeah.
What did I call it?
may I go back to 13? Ed, you had a question about the revolving fund with the items, whether they go back, or whether or
Yeah, I
not they
did
go
have
back
a
to...
question on that. Money that's in these accounts from FY13, I was under the impression that money that was left over was supposed to fall back into, and I could be wrong, to general fund. And the money that's generated in 2014 is what builds this outside number up. And I don't know if I have clarification from anybody on that yet, and I would like to get some.
I think we should.
Because that's supposed to,
Should be.
from what I listened to it, it was supposed to, any surpluses at the end of the years were supposed to fall back, and they were supposed to build up on their own each year.
And they can't spend, for instance, plumbing can't spend more than $11,000, so if they collect,
No, they can have that, as long as they don't have that much in there. Anything over that is supposed to go in automatically, but they can, over the course of the year, they can build up to that.
yeah,
Okay?
but they can't spend more than that.
No. It's
So if
supposed
they-
to revert back to
So
general.
let's say for FY12, they had $5,000 left in the account.
Then, I need clarification, I
Right.
need the accountants and the treasurers to tell us that,
Sitting there.
that money would fall back to the general funds, which...
It doesn't.
It doesn't?
It
It
doesn't?
No.
But should it?
How much are in those accounts?
Because,
They
I
can't
think
spend,
we should look at those, because I was always of the impression they fall back annually.
because they can't spend more money than that. So why would they end up with?
But it's just like having a slush fund that
Right.
starts it up.
But
And
I'm
I don't
saying
think that was the intent.
If they hold on to $5,000 for 3 consecutive years, they'd have 15,000 in the account, and they can only spend 11.
Right. They were never to have more than these balances.
Right.
I have to go upstairs and get my...
I mean, Vicki, you're gonna have to research how the articles were passed, because there was a limit.
Yeah.
And I believe in the articles, I mean, some of these articles 10, 15 years ago, but I just remember that these funds were supposed to be, whatever was left in there, and I'm just remembering what parts of it, that was supposed to revert back, and the money that was generated in the course of the year would add to these numbers, but anything left over at, say, June 30th would fall back as extra. That's what I thought it was.
Okay. I mean, I didn't, when I did close the books for FY12, I created a balance sheet for those, and those were transferred to the next year. So I will just double check on that.
Yeah, you can double check on it, and because that's the way I thought we set them up, because anything above and beyond that was supposed to fall back into general funds.
Right. Okay.
Article 14, transfer of $10,000 to Crossroads Park for reflective purposes.
That's on Helen Drive.
Yeah, that's that little triangular park?
Yep.
All right. Anybody? Problems? No?
No.
To see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $3,500 from community preservations to veterans' graves.
No, I have no problem.
Anybody?
No, it's Mr. Ferry.
Yep. To see if the town will vote to transfer $5,000 for community preservation to veterans' grave offers, find purchase installation of flag markers.
Those are, those are for flagpoles, for the veterans of the Spanish Revolutionary Civil War, and I think
No, it's only,
the French and Indian War.
French Indian, yeah.
it only says Revolutionary War and Civil
Oh,
War.
that's all right. I mean, the plaques have all of that on it.
Oh, all right. To see if the town will transfer the sum of $10,000 from community preservations to be used to fund administrative expenses. This is their housekeeping
That's
one.
their budget.
To see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $5,000 from CPA to the Historical Commission to fund the share of matching grant commemorating the 150th anniversary of the Civil War.
Yeah, there's a grant, I think, Mr. Allen's working on, and Mr. Kozik, not Allen, Kozik and Dick Ferry are working on, and that's our matching.
But this is to restore the memorials. To see if the town will transfer the sum of $7,960 free cash to fire department ambulance expense account to purchase new fire, for the fire hoses.
Before they burst.
So nobody else is where they owe them.
Well, there might not be any money in that, we need to find out, that should be tabled, we find out from finance committee.
Fire department expense. Fire department expense account, I didn't even know where do they get their money from? Fire department. To see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $5,650 from free cash to the fire, from the free cash, to the fire department expense account for the purchase of a new server.
I don't think we have information.
So that one we're gonna leave open.
Free cash.
That one's still open. To see if the town will vote to amend the bylaws of the town, Southampton, adding the following passages.
That's up to conservation.
So that's okay by us. Article 22, to see if the town will vote to accept Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 32B, Section 20, which authorizes the town to establish an other post-employment benefits liability trust fund to reduce the unfunded liability of healthcare and other, who knows this one?
Donna?
Yes.
We're talking about the auditor's request to have that retirement account established. Could you highlight that again with us? I know you talked about it before, but could you talk about it again?
Article 22.
Is all about?
22.
Yeah, that's the, so is that to establish the account?
That's to accept the...
Right. And this OPEB actuarial study that we're also voting to fund is one step, but we have to actually accept this Chapter 32B, Section 20, to establish a line item to fund this liability. And then I thought the next article would be to put $1,000 into that because even though we haven't had the actuarial study done yet, the auditor suggested that we establish a line for the next fiscal year and get that, and, put something in it to show that we are working toward it.
Are you going to be prepared to discuss that at town meeting?
Yeah,
Okay, because I can't do it.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll call upon you to discuss it, to explain it to the town. Okay.
I mean, maybe we can have the Article 24, which puts $1,000.
There's
We're
no,
gonna vote $1,000.
there's no number on that, Article 24.
Right. It was coming out of free cash, so. It's, instead of raise and appropriate, it's gonna come out of free cash, according to the free cash projection I have in my hand that I just got, right? Is this coming out here? $1,000 for the OPEB thing.
So that the language on that article should change then.
Right, and it might make more sense to have the article, to put the money into the account right after the article establishing the account.
I think we can do that. Can we do that relatively easily, Reggie?
Yeah,
Can we do that tonight so we can sign it?
we have to.
Yeah, okay.
I only got one copy for them.
Can we put a dollar amount in that?
Yeah, she wants $1,000 is what she wrote in there.
So instead of
It's
raise,
gonna come out of free cash, not raise and
right, so
appropriate.
instead of raise and appropriate, it's going to be transfer.
Right.
Article
Ladies.
24, right?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like there is none after this. All right, so we're going to change that to from raise and appropriate to transfer, and we're going to change that to Article 23, renumber them. 25, to see if the town will transfer the sum of $50,000 for the public safety complex. Whatever happened, what did we decide last night with that? Oh, you got it there. Public safety, 10,000. So,
Amend that to 10,000.
but it's vote to transfer the sum, so that's $10,000 now,
Right, rather than 50.
not 50. To see if the town will vote to transfer $29,150 from free cash to pay design consultant feasibility study for the Norris roof.
Didn't we do that already?
In this
I
warrant?
guess it wasn't clear. Vicky said it wasn't clear.
Oh, are we reissuing this?
We passed the article, but it never said where the funds were gonna come from.
Okay,
So
so
when I
this is,
spoke to Eileen,
okay.
it was, we should revote it to say where the funds were gonna come from. It
Okay,
should
so-
specify where the funds were gonna come from.
Because we already took that from free cash.
Right. Well, so we're transferring another 29,000? So we can't-
Vicki?
Yes.
We are, not trying to confuse you, but this 29,152 is a reissuing of an article that was done at a special
It was
town meeting.
passed at a special town meeting,
Okay,
correct.
but you're being more specific where it comes from. I just want to make sure the money is there to cover, not from free cash.
It's in, I think it's in your projection here for the 29,150. Yes,
Okay,
So it's coming from free cash?
yeah.
yes.
But
This is not done twice, we haven't, it's not,
No,
okay.
yeah, we're sure we're not doing this if we did it.
Careful wording.
Right, where did we get the 2950 when we passed it at the special town meeting?
Well, it's 55% of the $53,000 that was on that article, if you go back to that.
Okay.
You want to reference it?
Well, that's why I wrote parentheses reference, but I mean, I don't know how you want to word that, but the reference that it was, that we actually passed it
As approved.
as approved,
As previously approved?
Yeah.
yes,
All right, Reggie?
September.
Well, you got the date here, September 18th, 2012. Robert, you're okay with that language? Okay. To see if, Chief Silvernail, last night you graciously said you'd pass over that Article 27, is that still the same?
Yes, but I would request that it remain on the warrant to be passed over at the annual town meeting as a matter of record.
Anybody have a problem?
No problem.
No problem.
Mike, I'd also request, I had in line item on the police regular budget request, $10,000 for emergency equipment, and that was eliminated as well. I'd ask that the board could put that on as an article also to be passed over, just as a matter of record. I like it, I'd like the word out there that these are still important issues that need to be addressed, and I request that those both be listed as a matter of record.
Problems from the board? So what, you want this, do you have proposed language?
I'm drafting it.
You got it, you draft
Yes, it
it?
would be simply $10,000 for the appropriation of $10,000 to buy emergency equipment. It would be like it's the stage 2 of what we've already done in stage 1.
When did we do stage 1?
At the special town meeting.
Special town, the long guns that we purchased?
Correct, exactly.
I have no problem with that.
All right.
On that question, Dave, has there been any motion from the feds of the state? I know there was language right after that particular incident that they were going to start funding some grants earmarked for what we're talking about. Are we still looking at those?
I've heard of nothing that's come out. The only thing, and actually Tommy Slav brought it up last night, which was a good point. She had a question about Homeland Security money being available for this type of tactical training in the schools. And what had happened was, I believe it was Belchertown had applied for it and initially got approved, and then I don't believe it was rescinded, but then they had determined that no, that didn't fall under an appropriation that was proper from Homeland Security. So, in other words, what happened was, as soon as the word got out that Belchertown got it, everybody started trying to get the same monies, and everyone else got denied.
I just want to be aware of that. If there's something out there, we're not hitting something twice.
No, keeping an eye out for it. So far, there's no word that there's been any money made available federally for this type of equipment training.
Okay.
Robert?
I don't disagree with anything, but when you have an article, when you put it on the floor, the audience can vote either way. It's up to them, not...
No, we'll move to pass it over, but...
Well, but somebody, when you come to a vote, the vote...
Oh, yeah, the vote can go not...
Which would approve the article.
Right, can go against us.
One way is not to make a motion.
Right, we could...
And then moderator hearing no motion goes on to the next article, hearing none.
Or the alternative is we could vote tonight not to put the article on the warrant.
Correct, but agreeing with what Chief says, I just want to say I have no problem with that, but, technically...
It could happen.
Yeah,
Okay, Finance Committee. We approved all the articles except the finance articles, starting with Article 5. At least in my book, it's Article 5. On our Article 5, we've got $50,000 going free cash into the town's restricted capital stabilization account. Your budget?
You guys have your budget?
Yeah, we've got it now. This was drawn up after last night, our best guess at what we thought we were doing last night. So tell us what we're trying to do now.
Well, if you go to your projection of free cash, we did not include the fire department hoses, and we did not include any funding of the operation stabilization for capital stabilization. We met your replacement of the $96,000 for the wages, the $16,000 for the officers, police vests, and police equipment, $92,000 HRHS, OPEB, $11,000, public safety complex for $10,000, and Norris roof for $29,150. In doing that, we were able to eliminate what you wanted, any deficit that we were going to, that $200,000 in regional.
It hasn't been taken out.
Oh, it still hasn't come out. Okay.
But I didn't, fire chief, we hacked everybody's budget pretty bad in order to make everything balanced.
All right, let's start with Article 5, Select Board. There would be, Article 5 would now be a 0. We need to accept that. Actually, Article 5 and,
Article 5 would be 0?
Correct.
Article 6 would be 0.
Article 6 would be, I think that was the 112 and the 50,000
Yes.
Yes,
line.
yes.
So we are putting the 112 back.
So that becomes 100.
Yeah, 112, 939.
So should Article 5 be removed?
Article 5 should be removed. We cannot fund that.
Vote that.
Or do we do a pass over it?
Good call.
Well, it's not my call, it's the board's call. Do we put the people on notice that we're down to nothing?
That's fine.
If you leave it out there and they vote to make it happen, we're going to be out of balance by 50,000.
Well, they would have to know that, obviously.
Maybe we should just take it off.
I make a motion to remove it. So funds are available to address it.
Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Article 6 will now read the 112,939. Anybody have any comments on that, about the $50,000 that just went away from the insurance account? The up the creek without a paddle account.
Yeah.
Hearing none, I'd accept the motion.
I make a motion to accept the numbers given by the Finance Committee, 112,000. Is that straight, or is there change?
939.03. I think it's got the 03 on it, doesn't it? 930, my number would say 939.03.
It does.
It does? The 3 cents keep,
3 cents will not bankrupt us. We can handle 3 cents.
what would throw us out of balance is the next question.
No. We actually have a plus balance of $98.71.
Well, let's go all have a good time with that money.
Yeah.
Article 8 would be the next one. Oh, wait a minute. 7 was okay, right? Because the 10,000 is coming from ambulance fees. So 8 is to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $150,000 from the ambulance fees account to fund EMS-related expenses.
Is that how much their expenses are?
Who's speaking? I can't see.
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
You're down behind.
I know, I usually sit in the front, but normally what has happened is that this article would take the money from the ambulance fees to pay for the expenses for the ambulance for that particular year. So if you don't have $150,000 worth of expenses, you don't want to take that out of the ambulance fee, because right now there's not that much money in there. But that's going to roll over, and then you should generate about $150,000 for FY14.
How much are the expenses?
I would have to add them up, I don't, no.
Well, I think,
We need to get that tonight. So
yeah, we need to get that number. We don't want to take 150, which is more than is in the account. We shouldn't do that anyway. So what are the expenses that we're covering? Can somebody look at that while we go on?
Yes.
So we'll come back to that one. Coming back to Article 8. Article 9 and 10 are enterprise. 11 is nothing. To see if the town will vote to transfer $92,000 from free cash to increase Hampshire Regional Operating Line, budget line, pay its entire fourth quarter share. This is the $92,000 that we cut from their budget last year.
It's in there.
And it's in there. Well, so we're going to, that's okay then, right?
That's okay.
That's okay.
To Reggie, did we check on the 9/10 slope requirement?
Don't need it. Don't need it.
Yes, we don't.
I'm sorry, I was there when we did it, Robert. I apologize.
No worries.
Thank you.
My next one, I would say, is Article 19. See if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $7,960 from free cash to the fire department expense account, purchase new fire hoses.
No, it's in there.
That we did not include in, to take it from free cash, because we thought it would be in the budget. But after last night, I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know if the chief's going to be able to pull it together, see if he's going to have an extra $8,000.
And vote to make a recommendation to leave it in there and pass over it. Hopefully we can address this sometime next year with, when we know what the new free cash might be, but I think it should be in there similar to Chief Silvernail's request, and that people know that we're passing it.
For a second.
Second.
Chief, do you have anything to say before we vote that?
Not really. I
Okay.
need the hose, there's a lot more equipment that department needs. If it has to be, it has to be.
Well, just make sure you got enough to get to my house.
Again, if money was made available, I would kind of like that to be up at the top of the list.
What was it was the ambulance expenses, right? There was the other one? No,
She's working on it.
we can't take that for fire hoses. Okay, so that's gonna pass over. But it stays. To see if the town will vote the sum of $5,650 new server.
Again, that's not funded either.
Chief, what do you use that server for?
It contains all the information off our ambulance runs.
Like when we
Is that a legitimate cost, you think, for the ambulance? And while she's calculating how much we take out?
It could be.
Is the only thing it's used for is the ambulance?
No, it's used for daily operation of the whole department. It's used for all our reports. Everything that goes on is saved in there. The server, there's different settings in there for who gets what information, where they can go.
Is the lion's share of your daily activity
Ambulance?
on a yearly basis, the ambulance?
I would say so.
So I would say,
Move from ambulance fund?
yeah.
Chief, would you be okay if we took ambulance money and transfer, instead of raise and appropriate or transfer for free cash, we transfer from the ambulance fund?
Sure.
So that article should read, we'll transfer 5,000 from the ambulance, that's what the right name for the account is, ambulance fund?
Ambulance fund,
Ambulance fund,
whatever it says in number 8.
Number 8.
to the fire department expense account for the purchase of new server for fire department. How about for fire department and EMS services?
It says, and under 8, it says ambulance fee account.
Ambulance fee account. Reggie, you get that?
Ambulance fees?
Ambulance fee account? But should it also say new server for the fire department and EMS, or, and EMS?
I would put EMS and fire department.
And, or just
Yeah,
one?
well, she can use it for both. But
Yeah. But I'm just saying, we should be clear that it's going for the EMS. And that does it, right? Where's the omnibus? Did I skip, did I miss
We
it?
didn't do the omnibus.
Oh, that's Article 3. To see if the town will vote to fix salaries for all elected officials, except us, for the fiscal year 2000, that should be 14 again, right? Judge?
Sorry, what did you say?
Article 3, it's fiscal year 13, should be 14.
Yes.
See it?
Thank you.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the budget? I would assume no one is happy.
Nobody's happy. What do we have?
Is there anybody on this? Oh, Chief?
Yeah, Mike, I would just like to state, I'm not going to rehash what I talked about last night. I think the board fully understands what the position of the police department is. But I do want to say that I will do my best to stay within the budget. I hope that the shortages, these new cuts, can be addressed later in this fiscal year. And don't be surprised if by April I come in and inform you that I'm out of money or nearly out of money.
And just in fairness to you, with what the discussion we heard tonight about 1,500 motorcycles coming to town, you may have more problems there. Appreciate it, Chief. Mr. Collins?
I respect the work that the Finance Committee has done, but in sharing the wealth, it seems that everyone else's, the other departments' contractual wage increases were represented and the local schools weren't. We could zero them. In sharing the wealth, we ended up with no increase. We've got contractual wages, we have special education out of district placement situations that I referred to last night that we are legally bound to address. This doesn't work.
Appreciate that. Derek, any comments?
No, the way the budget, the line items that we have for the budget, we don't have a line item for wages to come out of. So that looks like it was an oversight on our part. Do you know what your wages are?
It was the same as the other departments, it was 2%.
2% of what?
I can tell you it's 80, it comes to $87,000
In increases? $87,000 in increases?
Yes, there are 89 employees at the school. Yep, and there are some steps, contractual steps as well. 2%, the same as all the other departments.
Well, that puts us $88,000 out of balance, I would assume.
It only seems fair that if every other employee in the town is going to have the town.
Is this just your union contractual employees, or?
It's both. There are 2 unions, and then there are a small handful of employees that are not.
How about administrative staff?
I took no increase at all.
Thank you.
I think the other administrator got 2% that I can check.
We're waiting for Derek to check something.
Just see if I can locate their budget and pull in the
Move the balance up into the operations. Let's count.
Vicki, I don't know. Vicki?
Yes.
How much money is left in operational stabilization account?
112,000. No, operational?
Yes.
$9,900. 99, 29, or 99 and some change.
Thank you.
The capital has 112.
We could take the capital for this, just the operation.
No, when you said that, I
Well,
individualized.
and we're putting 112 back into the capital one, right? Is that the 112 that's in there, the 112 we're just putting in, or is that in addition to
No,
that?
the 112 came out of the operational, so we're going to put that back in the operational, which is where we took it from.
Oh, so what we could do,
We could take,
So you're going to have 112,939 plus 9,900 and some odd dollars, so.
my suggestion is,
how risky this is gonna
this is
be.
gonna be very risky, but, you know, I mean, he does have a point. I mean, we're putting it in to replace stuff that was taken out last year. We just don't have anything left. Nothing.
I mean, we are paupers.
And we have to adhere to those contracts.
And I don't think we should,
The hard part of doing this is at the 11th hour, or the 12th hour.
no,
This is crazy. I guess let's see what they come up with.
This one might be regular teacher salaries.
While the Finance Committee does a little juggling, does anybody else have any comments they'd like to make? Fill the dead time.
I would just like to say that I appreciate the Finance Committee recognizing us non-union employees and feeling that they should, even though the budget's tight, still try to give us our 2% like all the other town employees are getting that are getting it under your unique contract.
Thank you. Bill, you are able to get a number?
Oh, I have it right here. I'm trying to do two things at once here. There's, we have to look at the other one. So, in this budget here, there's $247,479.47 for the ambulance.
How much? Say that again?
247,
Yep,
479.47,
yep.
which covers, if you look at your budget here, your $35,100 for the EMT standby, your EMT wages, your ambulance billing clerk, your EMT license and certification, and your ambulance EMS expenses. So currently, I have about $150,000 in the ambulance fee as it stands now, and two more months worth of receipts that will be coming in, minus any, what do we pay, $275 sometimes for other ambulance fees. And the projected for next year was $150, because that's pretty much what has been consistent. So that leaves you with about $300,000. But understand that the $150 for FY14 is not going to come all at once. It's going to gradually, so I'll have to, if we decide to do this, we'll have to gradually, transfer those funds over when they become available.
And
Now-
that number is 250?
This number is about $250, but then you're going to take $10,000 out of there also for,
So there's 247,000 in the income account? Or is that the expenses that you?
that's the expenses.
247.
Based on this FY14 budget, correct.
247,000 in expenses, and what's in the revenue account?
Right now, in the special revenue account, there's about $150,000. Now, we still have to post May and June receipts.
What's an average month's receipt?
I haven't analyzed that yet, so I'm not sure.
Calls.
I don't know, but it's got to
And
be
then-
average.
We had $153,000 that we transferred from FY13 to FY14. So on average, you're going to have, if you look back, $150,000 transferred from one year to the next. So,
Can we spend money that we haven't gotten?
Money that's in there is leftover money, but then the money that we're raising, appropriating on year 14 is becoming available. But my biggest concern is, after it's all said and done, we have 150,000 now, next year will we have 75 or 100? It's going to slowly go down.
It's been going down. Because by now, we should have enough money to buy an ambulance. And we don't.
no.
Most years, the chief would be, not this, the current chief, but the other prior chief would be in here agitating for a new ambulance for $300-something thousand. So what's the board's pleasure for the fire department?
Otherwise, if we don't address the daily operational over there next year, we're going to be cutting staff and also putting this out. My feeling is that we raise and appropriate the number that she suggested for next year to meet those needs, and that either we look at the fee structure and see about increasing those fees. Bill, is there any room in increasing the fees, or is that statute by insurance companies?
That's all set by the insurance company right now. I could call our billing company and see if there's any more increase. The best way to get an increase would be go paramedic. If we went paramedic, we'd stop paying so much as a $275 every time we had an intercept. What's hurting us a lot is they came out with the automatic dispatch as of July 1. There's certain criteria and protocol. As soon as they hit it, we have to call for a medic intercept. Most of them are $275.
Okay.
And we can range from 20 calls a month up to maybe 30, 35 calls that we need an intercept.
So,
my comment is we need to realize that we have a problem with the insurance fund, and we're going to slowly knock it down if we don't do something about it. And my feeling is next year it should be one of our priorities to look at fees and stabilizing that fund from being so much of a factor in the funding of the EM side of the ambulance. But we can't do that now. We need to pass a budget for 14.
So what's,
And my recommendation is we move forward with Vicky, recommendation of what we put into that, from the ambulance fund, into that department.
so what's the vote to transfer the sum of
Some of, Jackie?
What did I say, 247?
47?
4947.
Well, we would,
Yeah, because I still have to transfer it from the fund, even though it's from FY '13, we'll get carried over to 14, so I still have to transfer that.
should we just round that to 250,000 for simplicity's sake?
You're also going to take the 10,000 out of there, and then you're also going to take the 5960 for
For the server.
the server, correct? Which isn't included in that 247.
Well, it's not?
They would have to be separate articles, I would
Okay.
think.
Well, they are, so,
The chiefs, the 10,000 for the police is already a separate article.
yeah.
5960 is a separate article. I would think you just need to change the wording of where the funding was coming from.
Okay.
We did, didn't we?
Well, I thought we did.
Yeah, we did. So the question is Article 8, what should be the number, vote to transfer the sum of from the ambulance fees account?
I mean, if you want to make it around 250, I mean, it's 247, 479, 17, so.
250, Robert. That's my suggestion, don't you guys?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Ladies?
Is that a motion?
I make a motion to take $250,000 from the ambulance fund to pay the expenses and wages of the EMS service.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we still have to come back to
Bills.
Article 3. Do you want to, it's 20 after 8. Do we want to take a 10-minute break and Reggie can go start making changes to the other articles? Here, Reggie? That's fine.
Yes, but, yes, it will.
And then we
I'm
just gotta-
still going through the numbers as well.
All right.
Well, I don't think we should push her on her ticket.
Yeah, just go, just go make these changes.
Okay.
And then
we'll
we'll,
digest the actual budget.
yeah. So we'll take a 10-minute recess until 8:30.
He's gonna go away.
Coming up with different numbers from yours, and they're trying to work out the rationale. Where'd Jackie go? Oh, there.
She left.
Walking around the back of the room, we lost you. I guess I would call us back into session to say that we're still in a holding pattern. Reggie, you get all the changes except the budget one?
Yes,
All right, so then we hang on to it and we'll,
okay. It's right here, so please don't mix it up with the others.
this is now down to the 12th hour, 24th hour, rather.
Well, I remember meetings going to 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I've been
That was much
longer ago. Unfortunately, in my 9 years, we've never been that late. 8 years. Robert, have you had a chance to look, why don't you take a look at that warrant just to make sure that you're okay with,
I don't know right now.
you're okay with it, other than knowing that Article 3 is not, is still up in the air.
That's going to ask them.
That was very cool.
No, I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood.
No, they did. They did try to find
Oh, before they got there. Okay, so,
Doesn't even
if they have anything to say, would you address that?
669, so 267.
So they cut it.
Yeah, $259.
No, that's right, you paid. Yeah, this is what you Come on.
Yeah.
This is commented on.
The woman that came in after the ambulance wanted to address it.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. I wondered, and frankly, I was wondering what the ladies were sitting here for. We thought you just didn't have anything better to do tonight. I've just been informed that some of you would like to address us on the budget issue, or someone would like to address us.
She said it's a two-step to get it from elected to appointed.
That you know that,
I think it's safe to say that we're here to support the Norris Schools budget. Yeah.
we're all here to support it, we just don't know how we're going to pay for it.
Robert's done looking at it, would you mind looking at the...
If you had anything else, we'd be glad to listen to you, because we got dead air going. We're going out over the wire, looking kind of silly, sitting here doing nothing.
People want to, I can explain.
But again, there are people in the hallway trying to work out numbers and budgets and compromises. And as we said last night, no one was going to be happy when tonight was over, and frankly, no one is happy.
I'll explain it.
So we probably built a successful budget. Except that everybody should know that right now, the town of Southampton has no savings account, no reserve account, not no reserve account, but no reserve, free cash, no spare money to spend. God help us if a tree limb falls on something.
They already fell on the town. So I think it already fell on the town.
It did fall on the town. In my 8 years, this is the worst it's ever been.
I don't think we're alone either.
It can't go on. We've talked about what we can do, and frankly, I've said it before in meetings, the simple math is that we can raise taxes by 2.5% every year, and if you come in with a budget of more than 2.5%, it's got to come from someplace else. It can't come from revenue. So if you come in proposing your department get more than 2.5%, we have to take that from somebody. So I think for next year, we're going to start out with the premise that nobody comes looking for more than 2.5%. That would be my suggestion. And that we notify all departments, all schools, and all regional schools that 2.5 is the only thing we can accept, or 2.5 or less is all we can accept. Because this is what happens. We've just spent every dime we've saved over the last 8 years that I know of.
Just in the back, I don't know if I was getting it right. I thought that the $1,000 was going to be in front of...
I guess in light of the fact that this is dragging on, we'll take another recess for
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Can we go off the air? Two more minutes, because in fairness, I recessed it and said 10 minutes, and we should come back and then... We have another problem before we get started on the last problem.
Yeah, on the custodian expense line for this building, it's gone.
That was combined into the,
Town hall expenses? No, there's a deduct from the request, but I'm looking at...
there was 23 and 23 for, wait a minute.
No, I think it's missing. I think it's only like $3,000 or $4,000, but we do need toilet supplies here, no matter how bad it is.
So you're telling me that, well, I can double check that. So that's not part of your town hall building expenses?
No, that was a separate line item.
I'll have to go and double check that.
Okay. And I don't think it was a lot of money, but it's not there.
So we got to put something into the account.
Yep.
So what do we do?
Did you have what it was last year? It was $2,500?
$3,500.
And we haven't used it all yet, right?
No, I don't think so.
You think we should reduce it to 25? Well, last year we had 3,500 in there for it.
Call it 3,000 for this year.
I'll take a look at that afterwards.
Well, we got to do this right now. We got to come up with a place to put that and a place to get it from.
Well, what's the account number?
You got it, Reg?
Actually, I don't have that in front of me.
I don't have my expenses.
Where we at?
Completely off. I don't know if there's another expense report around.
I have it. Facility maintenance renewal. Custodial wages, custodial supplies.
How do we do this then?
Oh, it's line item 015192.400. Can I repeat that again?
Yeah. 15192.400.
How old is that one? April 13th. But how do we have to plug in 3,000,
Yeah, but this is like it, because they didn't have them then.
which pushes up all their, no, I don't have.
No, just that number.
Yeah, but
Bottom line.
pushes up the bottom line. So you gotta add 3,000 to the bottom line, add that account. Apologize to everybody for the delay.
There was no request put in for it this year.
Yeah, it was.
All right, we're gonna put $3,000 into the account for the budget.
Okay.
That raises $3,000 on the total budget by $3,000. Now we come back and deal with the school raises that were not included or not, whatever. And have we come to a consensus as to how much money that is?
The consensus on the school is going to be $58,595.
58,000? Did I miss something along the way?
That's the 2%.
Okay.
Not the steps or the lane change, not including any steps, lane changes, that sort of thing, just 2% on salary.
So,
But what is your calculations on the not incentives, but the educational steps?
That was another, what?
$54,455.98.
And those two combined is the number?
It's 113.
Are we in agreement with that?
But the town does not have the 113
No.
to cover the whole thing, so we're saying if we're going to be in agreement with all the other departments, they got the 2%, then just looking at 2%.
Well,
2% is...
My motion, and I'm not speaking for the board, but my motion to the board would be that we reduce the money we're going to put into one of the stabilization accounts by half that number you agree with, what, 54,000 or 55,000, and that you come up with school of choice money to pick up the other half, if you can do that.
Well,
that's all I can tell you.
So the 2% is basically half of what the salary increases are. So our compromise is cutting that, is taking care of all those steps and lane changes and having the town help us with the 2% the same way they did with every other.
So that's 40. So what number is that 2% again?
$58,595.02.
So we take care of all that number, is your suggestion? Okay.
And we figure our way to...
Take care of the educational steps?
Yes.
Okay.
We just do 59,000.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
And so that leaves... So that's 59,000. It's 9. 9 from 12 is 13. So that would change Article 6 from 112,939.03 to 53,939.03. And it would, we have to increase the total budget by $62,000. Right? No. Yes.
So it's 59.
Well, 50,
Okay,
for the
okay.
3 for the other account. So the whole budget goes up by 62,000. So the 50, so wait a minute, that 59,000 was getting transferred from free cash.
Correct. So I was going to the stabilization.
So that 59, why don't we just do the whole what if we did the whole 62,000 and simplify it from free? There's no money in it anyway.
No.
So how would we have to break that out into separate articles? Transfer?
It would have to be broke out in two articles, one for the school and one for the custodian, but the lump sum can come out of that stabilization question.
So we'll have to add 2 more articles, Reggie,
Okay.
to transfer the sum of $59,000 from free cash to Nora's, what, operating budget?
Nora's budget line.
Nora's budget. Salary, or is it, do we get specific enough as salary?
No, it's just one line item.
All right, so the Norris operating budget. And then another article for $3,000 to be transferred from free cash to whatever that custodial account.
Why wouldn't you put it in your spreadsheet? Why wouldn't you add the dollar amounts in your spreadsheet?
Just to do it quick and easy, I think.
Well, the spreadsheet's got to be attached to the warrant.
Can the spreadsheet show that line item?
Can you generate a spreadsheet tonight that we can attach?
Yeah. Generate the PDF.
But then, so then we still got to take that money from somewhere. So it's
Free cash.
Free cash
59 is from free cash, okay.
to the Norris, and then 3,000 from free cash
to the custodian
to the
expense
custodian
line
account.
item.
It's stupid, but it's got to get done.
Okay.
We have to, the money's got to come from somewhere rather than go back and redo all the. All right?
Well, yeah, but I don't think you're gonna have to put that into the, I mean, you're putting it on your article of free cash, to transfer out of a different source, so it's not gonna, you'll throw your numbers up, you put it back in the budget.
So you're saying leave it as a separate question?
Leave it as an article.
Leave it as an article? If it simplifies for everybody else, for reason agreement, I have no problem with that.
We'll just leave it as an article. Somebody clarify, I'm missing what you're telling me.
He wants to put it,
Well, you have to do one or the other.
You have to do one or the other. If you're gonna put it as an article, then it doesn't need to go into the budget.
No.
You're gonna fund it
Right,
like that.
right. It's going to come.
You just need a final, I mean, we need to clean up.
We need your thing to attach to this so that we can sign it.
Right.
Without that $3,000 and without the $59,000.
those would be separate articles.
Separate articles.
Correct.
We need your budget for everything else. We need a spreadsheet that we can attach.
Okay.
All right? Can you generate
5 minutes?
5 minutes? 5 after 9, we'll come back into session.
Okay.
We're on?
Yep.
Okay. The Finance Committee has been in the other room working. There was a $300 discrepancy in the budget. We need to save $300 more in order to have a balanced budget. I would accept a motion to change the $3,000 that we put into this building's maintenance expense account to $2,700 instead of $3,000, and that balances the budget and allows them to complete.
I'll make a motion to adjust the custodian expense account from $3,000 to $2,700 from free cash.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Reggie's going to make the change.
Let's have some discussion.
Get the heck out of here.
Kidding.
All right, so these are now all no good again. Unless, I suppose you can just change your number.
Yeah.
What article is that?
Well, I think Reggie just ran out to do...
Well, she's got to change the official count that we're going to sign, but for purposes of, rather than throw all this paper away for the sake of $300.
Last question.
I think 8 or so. Oh, that was a fire. Oh, she changed even, they're all, oh my goodness.
What number is that?
She added some.
Here it is, Article 20. Your Article 20 is now $2,700. And as soon as they generate a spreadsheet, we are in business.
Mine's in my pocket, I'll get it.
Bill, how's that fire in Easthampton?
$2,700.
We left tonight, we'll check with Meyer, he said they'll probably be back up there tomorrow.
Was it fire in Easthampton?
Yeah.
Oh, up on the mountain? If we don't get rain, there'll be fire everywhere.
These are some rain tomorrow and Thursday.
Big fire in the sky.
Don't talk about
Until Sunday?
Yeah, don't
Oh, they're having a big pancake breakfast in Springfield on Saturday. Not that I will go, but
You got your wrap on
I feel
it?
bad because they work so hard
Your
at
wrap
it, you
still
know?
on it?
No, I got one half of the whole strip, and I
Oh.
gotta go down.
Well, we need it though.
Oh, he's as crazy as my kid is.
He's keeping, I mean, the boat he's got,
Oh, wow.
It's a huge boat.
Oh, we have a birthday?
he's pouring money into it.
Oh, God, that kind of thing sucks.
Did you bring it home? What house did you go to?
George, what happened to the top of your head?
So where are you on Pleasant Street?
I'm on the short end. So if you're coming up from Fletcher's towards Easthampton, and you get to Pullman, and
Still waiting for,
take a left.
Okay, so Gun Road is here and you take a
we were
left.
supposed to come right in, we're still waiting for the,
So Mr. Monahan or what?
Yeah, he's at the very end, you're gonna come this way. I'm like in the middle.
Of him and Gun Road? Oh, okay. On the left side or the right side? Yeah. How long have you been there? 7 years?
Jackie, I don't know if those are on.
Pardon me?
I don't know if those are on. Just let you know, so you're not talking about knitting or...
We're talking about her home. Her son's having a birthday party tomorrow. Oh, no, Saturday. And how old's he gonna be? 6. Oh, that's so cute. I love that age.
Do you know Maura Paley's moving to town? You know Maura, moving up here.
I know, I'm excited. Her son is my youngest son's age, so they'll be in school.
I can't believe how old your grandson is.
Yeah.
One that went on that,
He's 9, but Evie's the youngest, she's 6.
9 already? I remember when he was a little
Didn't
guy.
you just have another grandbaby?
That was Teddy.
He just had another baby.
He just had another baby. Now, you were in between, no, you were in Michael's class.
A year younger than Michael.
Okay. So Teddy was 3 years older.
Time goes by so fast. Tommy and I were saying 6 months, a year seems like 6 months now. You know? But I don't feel any older. I feel like I'm getting younger. Getting sillier. There's way more humor in things. I used to be like so serious, now I'm like, whatever. I can still see like these little
Ladies and gentlemen, we are still in a holding pattern for Finance Committee. I've just been told it is now 10 o'clock and that they are requesting another hour to make the budget balance. Because of time constraints and broadcasting restrictions, we are not going to be televising the meeting as of now. We will terminate television, but the Select Board and certain members of the audience are still sitting here anxiously awaiting a balanced budget. Thank you. Good evening.
Good night.